Hello and welcome back to the Beer Temple. I am Chris and welcome back to the Beer Temple.
I'm back.
Yeah, been about 3 episodes, I think.
Don't call it a comeback.
You've been here for years?
Yeah.
What's the next line? Putting suckers in fear? I don't know.
That's about as the extent of my recollection of LL Cool J's entire catalog.
Okay. That's not true.
It's true.
That's not true because you love Around the Way Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want a girl with extensions in her hair, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, a Fendi bag, and a bad attitude. That's all I need to get me in a good mood.
Right, so you're right. That's all you know of LL Cool J, except the entire...
I could probably keep going with that song.
Yeah, but you probably shouldn't.
No.
Because, for many reasons. One of which is we're here to taste pretty special beer.
Yeah.
One that... Actually, let me make sure the mic is on. Yes, mic is on. Okay. Whew. I get,
Nervous.
worried about that. I did it once with the book review, and it ended up being okay, but it's better with the mic. Anyway, we're here to talk about Hopslam, and this is one of the ones that the beer geeks go nutty for. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of these big releases, they are seasonal, they are limited, but I think that this one is done pretty well. Bell's is a big enough brewery where they can actually make a beer and they go to great efforts to make it widely available. Mm-hmm. If you want to get it, you don't have to get on a list. You just have to, be somewhat conscious of when it comes out and show up at a store or at a bar and get it. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do it while it was still fresh, so if people want to get it, they can still go to a store and find it.
Right.
And if that is the case, and if you haven't already had it, start looking around at your local bars and beer stores and see who has it and get it pretty soon. It's not going to be around that much longer. That said, they're doing something interesting this year with Bell's, with the Hopslam. They're doing a rolling release. They're releasing it in different areas of the country at different times.
Really?
And I think they're doing several batches of it as well. They're going to be doing more than one batch, several batches. And that's just to keep up with demand and to keep it fresh. So it's not, just to try to help.
Oh, that's a great idea to keep it fresh, too. Because with this type of beer, it's so important to have a fresh beer. You don't want to have one that's been sitting around for a couple months. So that's kudos to Bell's.
Yeah, I think it's really done well. I really would love to see as many breweries that have the capacity to try to do this sort of thing, even just brew in the quantity that they do, to be able to do it. Because this is a big beer. I'm sure this takes up a ton of space. Mm-hmm. In their fermenters. We were talking about the Lagunitas Suck Sale and why they had to do that because, they didn't have room for brown sugar. Some of these big seasonal beers take up a lot more resources than the normal beer.
Right.
So this is their double IPA from Bell's Brewery up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. One of the bigger regional craft breweries, but certainly a good one. I mean, they make some good beers.
And I think locally endeared in the Midwest, certainly.
Yeah.
For a while, when we first came to Chicago, we didn't get Bell's. They brought it back a few years ago, and people just kind of went nuts for it because it's something that I think is a little bit near and dear to people's hearts, especially if they're from the Michigan area.
Yeah, and the Oberon craze, every summer their summer seasonal is a wheat beer called Oberon, and Michigan people go crazy for that beer.
Yeah.
It's weird. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of people from Ohio and Great Lakes Christmas Ale.
That's true. That's a good point, yeah.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
So, this beer, big beer. This is definitely in the Midwest range or style of double IPAs, where they're huge, double-digit alcohol content. We had the Three Floyds and the Double Daisy Cutters and the Hopslams, and there's a lot more. Where in the East Coast style, their double IPAs tend to be a little bit lower in alcohol, like Pliny the Elder, Sculpin. Those are like 7-8%.
That's West Coast.
What did I say? East Coast?
Yep.
I meant West Coast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the West Coast double IPA is a little bit lighter, but in the Midwest, they bring out the big boys for these double IPAs. And this is one of the biggest. 10% alcohol. And it's a monster. It is finished with, they use a whole bunch of Northwest, Pacific Coast hops. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely got that, traditionally has that big IPA flavor to it, finished with Simcoe hops. I just learned today from their site.
Okay.
So, and also has honey in it, which is interesting. I mean, the use of honey really would be to up the alcohol without making it while keeping the body light, because honey is extremely fermentable. And if you need to get more alcohol out of a beer, typically you just add more grains to it, but that's going to add more body. So what you do is you add something highly fermentable that won't give it the body. You know, Budweiser does that with rice, and Miller does it with corn, and in this case they're doing it with honey. It's just an adjunct, you know.
Neat.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, as an adjunct, but I guess you're right.
Yeah. And also maybe the best bottle cap in beer. It's just so cool. I always love it. It's like a dude being crushed by an enormous hop. It's a hop, and you just see like his feet kind of coming out from under. Let's see how good a zoom I can get on that. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
It's a hop slam, if you will.
He's being slammed by the hop.
Right. Body slam.
Yeah. Well, it's just a fun. Let me just make sure I nail it. Bang. Bang. So let's get into it. We're talking about this beer plenty. Let's ladies first.
Ah, yes. I am a lady. Although my shirt today is from Grumpy Troll Brewery up in Wisconsin. So some folks may call me a troll, but I know I'm a lady at heart.
There's lady trolls.
You're right. You're looking at one, baby.
Yeah.
Wow. So as soon as you pour that beer, you can
just pour the whole thing. I mean, it's not like we're going to be
do it upright. Do it upright. As soon as you started pouring it, you can smell the hops from across the table, which is a great sign in my book. And you know the color on this, light orange, deep gold, I would say.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a haze in it.
Yep.
I don't know if that's from the chill or
probably no, from the hops.
Okay.
There are tannins. And I don't know if it's proteins, but there's a hop haze to some of these really, really big hopped beers. Sometimes you can filter it out, but you also will be stripping some of the hop character.
Right.
So for a double IPA, why would you end up doing that?
Why would you do that? Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And nice fluffy head on this beer too.
Absolutely. The honey may also help with some of that head retention as well.
Smells great. It smells like pineapple to me.
Big time.
Yeah, like a canned, like fruit cocktail type pineapple, like where they have like that kind of juicy syrup.
Or almost like or like candied pineapple, like the type of pineapple you would get on top of a ham. Like those rings of ham that have pineapple on it? Like it's almost kind of like a candied pineapple a lot of times.
Yeah, kind of sugary, sweet.
Yeah, that's right. So like a brown sugar glazed piece of pineapple.
That's an awfully distinct description. I'm going to go, but actually I think the exact perfect description in my book is it's a can of pineapple and juice. And
a cocktail.
Yeah, you open it up and eat it.
Yeah, you're also getting a little bit of like tangerine and some nice really tropical like papaya, that sort of thing. I'm also getting a little bit of pine in there as well.
Yeah, I guess I can get a little tiny bit of pine.
Yep. Yeah, I get kind of like a green herbaceous piney scent as well. I mean, you can't really ask for much more in the way of aroma.
Yeah, this beer smells great. Like I said, you could smell it from across the table. So let's give it a taste.
Sure.
That pineapple comes through for me on the taste as well. You're still swishing, Jesus. You're a slow drinker.
I want to taste the beer. But go for it.
The pineapple taste comes through for me on the taste as well as the nose, and then I do get a hit of bitterness at the end.
Yeah.
Let me take another sip. See, I think my method's just a little different. You're like one kind of big, long, swishy drink, and I take lots of little drinks.
Sure. I mean, I've been known to taste my beer more than once while drinking it, but I guess maybe I do that. Anyway, what did I get on the beer? I definitely got a lot of that pineapple flavor as well, but it is definitely sweet. There is quite a bit of body to this beer, quite a bit of residual sweetness to this beer. It's a sipper.
Yeah.
It's really big, and it's got a ton of hop flavor in there. It's got, in addition to just those sweet tropical flavors, there is a lot of that pine as well that I'm getting, and
Yeah.
just very kind of resinous, dank flavors as well. A lot of hop flavor here. It's definitely a Hopslam. And to me, the sweetness kind of masks some of the bitterness as well. It's not an overwhelmingly bitter beer by any stretch.
Sure.
And in fact, a lot of just your everyday IPAs, and the IPAs that I was having for the IPA show, I think some of them tasted more bitter. This might have more IBUs. The International Bitterness Unit is how you judge the amount of bitterness in it.
Right.
But that can be offset on your palate by the sweetness. So right now, I mean, even I haven't had another sip because I like to take one big sip and then dump the rest. And it's still not, I mean, this is what a biting, bitter tongue bruiser of an ale. And I don't necessarily, that's not how I would characterize
I wouldn't call it a tongue bruiser. I mean, you definitely get some bitterness, like I said, especially on the back end. But I've certainly had some double IPAs that are just hard to drink because they're so bitter and yeah, kind of like stinging almost. But this I think you're right. It's just not there because that sweetness really balances it out.
Getting a lot of orange as well, like that orange kind of jelly flavor. Definitely. There is quite a bit of bitterness. In terms of freshness, we want to always try to give that information here. We mentioned you want to try this beer as fresh as possible. Do not wait on this beer. Do not age this beer. Drink it fresh. This was bottled 12/29. It is now January 19th. So you're talking about less than 3 weeks, or no, just at 3 weeks old, a little over, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
That's about as fresh as you can expect to have it.
Yeah.
And it's tasting good.
Yeah, I agree. It tastes great to me.
Yeah.
So I would probably go like 95 on this beer. I mean, I think it's just a really excellent example of a double IPA, and I think that freshness has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I certainly agree. It's a sipper. You know, I think honestly this half a glass is very good for me. It's about the perfect amount that I would want to have.
Right.
It's a big beer, 10%. It's also an expensive beer. I mean, this is going to be over $15 a six-pack, but you're getting a lot. I mean, it's twice the alcohol. I think it's fairly priced, and I would personally rather have a $15, $16 six-pack than a $15 bomber. A lot of people think they're getting such a great deal when they get that bomber, but here you have more servings of beer, and you know, if you think about it, a $15 bomber turns out to be a $45 six-pack of beer.
Wow.
So a lot of those double IPAs, you know, nothing against them, you know, but like one that's coming to my mind is, you know, Arctic Panzerwolf. You know, that's $12, something like that. A bomber, that's $36 a six-pack. So this is half that.
Yeah.
So just it is more money, but you know, you're getting more beer as well, and I think it's fairly priced. What would I give this beer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna go 95 as well.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, it's got a ton of really, really nice hop flavor to it. It's balanced. There's a lot there. It's good. I'm trying to think what more would I want from the beer, but no, I mean it's a perfectly fine beer. I like it very, very much. It's worth going out there if you're a hop lover.
Agreed.
Yeah, there
Perfect.
you go. Well, there you have it. That is our review of Bell's Hopslam. If you're interested in trying it, go out and get it now because it's not going to be around too much longer. Also, there is a shout out I want to give, and I hope I get this name right, but I have a feeling I'm going to get it slightly wrong, to Eugene Beer Lover. Thank you for the 5-star review. Eugene, you know who you are if I didn't get that quite right, but I do very much appreciate what he had to say. Had some cool stuff from the perspective of a homebrewer who watches the show, saying that he gets a lot of not only information about beers that we taste, but some ideas for styles that he'd like to brew.
Cool. Love to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So thanks again for all you guys who watch the show. Keep the comments coming and ratings and reviews. And we're on our site, craftbeertemple.com, as well as Facebook and all those other places. But we've got some more shows to tape today. We got some pretty fun beers to try. We got to figure out which one we want to do next.
Yeah.
So not quite sure. But while we're deciding,
we've got some beer to drink.
and hopefully you do too. Tag team that one.